Okay, so this is my reaction and analysis to the It trailer.
There you go. She's already kept. Thanks,
It must have hurt. The yellow stands out in this as well. I like the sound. Oh, it's effective.
There's not like any time I've ever been in before. People die or disappear 6 times the national average. And that's just grown-ups. Kids are worse. Way worse.
Okay.
There was this. Yeah, I saw him too.
Cloud.
It's all connected by the sewers. That's where it lives.
Cloud and Halo. What? Oh my days. What are you afraid of?
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Okay. At the beginning of the trailer, it provides some general context that the film will involve and being surrounded by children. And from when we see the two young brothers together, with the elder one creating a boat for the younger brother to go out in the pouring rain. This type of information makes us as the audience laid back and not concerned about anything, because it's just a brother making a boat for a younger brother, and it doesn't make us think that anything bad will occur, because then you just see him go outside to play with it in the rain, which can be a bit dangerous, but we don't really think about it in that way. As the youngest child was wearing a bright yellow rain mech when he goes outside, we view his actions through a tracking shot and then a top shot. So when he's coming out of the house, running outside, we are given a split second of a POV shot just before he hits the bollard, or the sign, or whatever you want to call it. At this moment, the whole trailer, it just completely changed, and you could tell that through you would understand that because the audience would feel his pain in a way, because anyone getting hit in the head like that, it would really hurt. Also, the audience will grow affection for the child, since he then tries to run after his homemade boat, but then goes into the sewers. And you know that, and you could tell that he's upset, and it makes us upset through the dialogue of his elongated saying no. So you understand his frustration and him being upset. As the boy hits his head on the sign, the music, or like the sound, instantly changes, creating the feeling that the actual proper part of the trailer is about to start. So we got past the general sort of build up to what the film is about in a way, or like just a normal narrative, and now we got up to the main part of the narrative. At first, before the switch in music, the music sounded adventurous. So when he's running after the boat, but after he hit his head, the music just changed instantly, and it changed to us hearing a high key note of a piano, I think, which was being played, and it softly dims with the diegetic sound of the rain at the same time, and this does build up tension. This definitely gives us the impression that something is about to happen, and this is furthered by when the boat is taken into the sewers, the intense build up of the sound just stops. So then you know that we're waiting for something, but we obviously don't know what it is. So that makes us scared. And then we feel like we're in the same position as a child. We are presented with a low angle shot from as from the sewers looking up to the child, as if we were the person or wherever it is in the sewers looking up at him, without him actually knowing we're there, because he's just trying to look around for the boat. Non-diegetic sound effects, non-diegetic, non-diegetic sounds are really important in horror trailers because they can make the audience jump and keep your attention. Even if you try to look away, it still drags you into it. We see this many times when the clown jumps up to our vision. So when we are able to see him in the sewers now, but you can see him, but there's sort of a shadow over him, but you can still see him clearly. We see this at the start, but then we also see this at the end of the trailer, when you see half of his head in the sewers, and then he jumps up and starts running towards the other child at the end of the trailer. We see further use of non-diegetic sound when the children are going through the pictures, and then it's suddenly and then they suddenly lost control of it, so they'll just go through the pictures by itself. We see other uses of sound like voiceovers, dialogue, music, and diegetic sound. Even though all trailers would use mostly these forms, the sound and the timing of the sound is really important because it can, if you get it wrong, it can then confuse the audience on what is actually trying to be shown, and it can just completely ruin the trailer and then make the audience not want to watch the film. This is a horror film, so to get the audience to be unsettled using dialogue with no other sound, apart from like low diegetic sound and loud thuds, it's really effective. So when the child is saying "you'll float too" at the end, like several times, and then starting to shout it, that is really effective and can make the audience feel really unsettled. And I felt unsettled and kind of confused by it as well. And then there's suddenly seeing the clown, when it cuts to the clown, that was really effective. So overall, I'd say that sound has been great in this trailer and has been able to entice the audience into watching the rest of the trailer and the whole film. So cinematography is shown to be at a wide range in this trailer, but specifically to have a lot of moving shots. The pace is different depending on situations, so a low tracking shot of the red balloon moving across the room with the child turning around, which was really that shot was clearly linked with his emotions and reaction at that moment because his movement was slow. For nearly every scene that a child is in, they're at the center of the frame, but are never shown at eye level, but normally normally at a low angle shot, meaning that they are the focal point in the movie, meaning that they are the focal point in the movie, and they are the ones who are trying to stop the clown and not adults, because a longer shot of someone could show them in power. There's one particular scene that uses a cowboy shot that is really effective. This is when you see only the right hand of the clown walking towards the children who are shocked, even though there's a shallow depth of field with the children out of focus. Even though we can't probably see them, we could still see their reaction and facial reactions. Close-ups are used to add dramatic effect. We see proof of this dramatic effect when the clown is in the dirty sewer water with half of his head appearing behind the child in the yellow jacket. This is to cause audience to react to be shocked and obviously gasp at seeing the clown next to the child in the sewers. This is also done to show we have the same reaction as the characters when it's so we see this when it's cut to the other boy with his jaw dropping down out of shock. Then it cuts to the clown running towards the boy, but we are given a mid-range shot, but with then it cuts to the clown running towards the boy, but we are given a mid-range shot, but with the rapid editing it turns into a close-up, so we only see the clown in the frame, making the audience feel as if the clown is moving towards them. Even though he's only moving towards the boy, it still makes the audience feel really scared in that situation and vulnerable in that situation, which is really effective. When we look at the mise-en-scène, there are many locations in what seems like one neighborhood that's used in the trailer from what we see. This does indicate that the film will be based in one area, so costs are kept down. The male props used are a high number, but costing wise must not be that high, because they don't look like high price items. So there's a torch, an old fashioned projector, a bag, a balloon, and more objects obviously. However, some scenes that I've seen, like the room in the beginning, has a lot of objects in there. What looks like haunted house would have taken a while to set up, potentially, and the cost could have been quite high due to the detail that's seen from a low angle shot. Also, we see other shots inside the house when the clown with his hand with a cowboy shot. We can also see that it's in the same house with all that detail in there. So we understand that there has been a lot of input into the mise-en-scène and the props that are used. So costing has probably gone up by quite a bit from just that house. Also, there are scenes that are inside and outside the school. Costumes were really basic, just general t-shirts and jeans for most of it, so that would have cost a lot. Obviously, there's the addition of the clown suit. This is the most integral part of the trailer and film, because without the clown costume, you lose the plot of the story and the horror film. The colouring is very vibrant on the clothing, and for some general other scenes as well. This is because they want the audience to understand what's important in the scene. So the boy in the yellow boat, the boy in the yellow coat chasing after the boat. So with this, they are indicating that obviously the boy is the main part in this scene, so you don't get distracted by anything else, so you understand what's the focal point. There's also a warm feel filter, I feel, for the whole trailer, giving a juxtaposition to what the audience may feel about the film, because obviously it's a horror and a warm feel to it. Obviously isn't obviously what you would expect. The editing in this trailer seemed to be very simple, and this is by having very general smooth, steady cuts at the start of the trailer. We do, however, then begin to see the gradual pace of cuts pick up when the boy is looking down the sewer, where different angles are used for a few seconds that can distort the audience slightly. Fadeaways are used to essentially tease the audience in what will appear next, getting them to be gripped to the film, and can also make them have some suspense and tension because you don't know, some can just jump out. We see great use of editing when we go from a scene of the balloon moving to a long black screen hearing the dialogue. We all float down here to then a torch turning on, which was the children in the tunnel. This was done to make out that the children were in the dark at that moment, obviously potentially hearing this voice, but also making the audience feel part of the movie and actually close to the children, which is really creepy but effective. This can also be seen as a match on action shot as well. Typography isn't seen a lot in the trailer, but the use of it is very effective and does provide information that makes you feel involved in the story. So the first piece of text we see is September, obviously informing us that the film will be released in September in that year, which is actually 2017. After this, the producers have chosen to make us feel part of the trailer by having text caught up in stages asking us a question, which was, what are you afraid of? And at the end of the trailer, we have the title of the film It appear in a devilish style font with a light coloured red indicating the connotation of danger, power of the clown, and death as well. The background of the text, not including the title obviously, has a dark black blue mix to it, with the text being white with a yellow type gold glow, and part of the text making it stand out a lot, and obviously makes us catch up. It also makes it catch our eye, so then we actually see what they're asking us. Overall, I found that this trailer was really gripping at stages. However, some parts of the trailer felt like they were just put in, even though they did have meaning to it. And I just felt that it didn't really get me interested into the trailer as much as it could have, even though it did. But that was only because of certain parts of the trailer that was really revealing on what it was about and gripping as well, because it did shock me, and I'm sure it shocked everyone else watching it. But I would definitely still watch the film. Just some parts in the trailer just made me wonder, is these only the scary parts that we'll see?